The time is 6 p.m. I would like to call to order the Norwood City School District Board of Education Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. Mrs. Camphouse, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Atwood.
Present.
Ms. Ballard. Present. Mrs. Rarica.
Present.
Mr. Taylor.
Present.
Mrs. Cole.
Present. All right, if you would please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Item 3 on the agenda is the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Ms. Ballard. Yes. Mrs. Rarica.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, with our agenda adopted, we could go ahead and move on. Item 4, these are our discussion items. 4.01, we have Miss Pam Bowers here from our planetarium. So Miss Bowers, I will turn the floor over to you. Please make sure your microphone is on. We're looking for...
Swipe your finger across it and it'll go green.
Hit it.
There you go.
Yep, there we go.
There we go. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Everybody excited about the eclipse?
Yes.
That's what we want to hear. And great weather on that day.
Yay, science.
You know, this total solar eclipse is one of the most important scientific phenomena that many people will experience. We are not going to have another eclipse in our area for 75 years, a total. So that's like 2099. I would encourage everyone to try to go, but if you've experienced an eclipse total before, you know that it's packed with people. And the latest figures I have from NASA are saying that 2.5 million people will inundate our area along the total path of the totality path. Look at there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, there's going to be people everywhere along that path and or kind of on the edges of the actual path. Hotels are full. Airbnbs are full. So I have every reason to believe that there's going to be large traffic jams. And a lot of the places are having all kinds of extracurricular stuff going on. So it's going to be quite an event. And hopefully a lot of the school kids get an opportunity to witness some real science. And citizen science is what I'm talking about primarily. I was asked by the National Science Foundation to submit a grant. And I said, well, why not? Let's just give this a shot. So I wrote it. And then I'm kind of looking at two screens here. Hang on. National Science Foundation had a directive that said they wanted facilities like ours to focus on underrepresented groups. And that would be obviously Title I in schools. It would be women and girls, minorities, and physically and mentally handicapped individuals, specifically the blind. And I'll talk about that in just a minute. Jay Pasakoff passed away, and one of his wishes before he did that was to engage these underrepresented groups. So the American Astronomical Society, they put out this all call to just lots of agencies. And what you're looking at now, obviously on this screen, is the path of totality. and you see blue stars and you see red stars on there. And there were approximately 250 proposals that they received. Out of that 250, 35 of those received funding. And I'll talk about what kind of funding it was. The people with the blue stars, which is about 8 of us, were in the top 8 in the nation. And I think part of the reason that we received this grant is that this is our normal day-to-day business, underrepresented groups. And so I was thrilled when we got it. And then they told us what we would receive if we could, accomplish what my goals were. I said about 2,500 people we would see with this Science Foundation. And I've seen already 4,000. So I'm not too worried about that. That's a lot of people. Of those people, we have partners. All right, and there's the list. St. Bernard Schools, Norwood City Schools, Reading City Schools, and for some reason I left off Cincinnati Public Schools, and I will tell you that there are 5 schools within Cincinnati Public Schools that are also our partners. And within Cincinnati Public Schools, there's an organization called Connections, and those children are also involved. Norwood City Schools, we are serving all of the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And what we're doing is we were fortunate enough to have the Totality show, which is a Omnimax level show, and it actually has live footage of a total solar eclipse. So when the kids come in, sometimes you'd say, oh, this is a total solar eclipse, no big deal. But when they actually see it, and that's what we have in the planetarium, they get a better understanding of what that means. A lot of people think it's going to be pitch black. It is not going to be pitch black. It's going to be like a dusty gray, but it will allow us to see the bright stars and some of the planets. So that's kind of cool in itself. It's kind of dusty looking. And then it shows, actually the footage was taken in Tennessee, and it shows the shadow of the moon coming across the mountains there outside of the planetarium where he was. Community organizations that we're doing, we were thrilled to have Cincinnati Rec. That's a broad group of people and students, families, senior citizens, and then Girl Scouts of Southwest Ohio. So, do you have any questions about this part of it, our partnerships?
I wish you'd given us a pause and gone like, and we got it. And then we all go, yeah! Good job, Pam!
It took a while for them to tell us. They didn't tell us until, I think it was January, end of January. And to this day, we still have not received our letter that said you got it.
Oh my goodness.
That's what you said you were waiting for. It never came?
It never came. And our site and the rest of us, we didn't get that because we all meet in forums through the Astronomical Society of the Pacific, and I am a lecturer out there for them, and they said, we actually don't know what happened. I said, fine. I still have it, right? So I'm going to proceed. I'm going to go forward.
Are you able to show them anything with the shadow effect that happens during a total eclipse too?
Yeah, that Omnimax movie
With the leaves and
is
everything?
the real thing. So you're talking about the effects.
Mm-hmm.
So they can hear the birds go, the frogs croaking, the light coming through the leaves, which creates a myriad of solar eclipses on the rocks. The light, have you seen that light effect?
I've
It
been
almost
in.
looks like water.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
then
saw
we
the
can.
flowers close as it
Yes.
was getting dark.
And what else would happen at night? I've been teaching too long. I just got out of a session. What else?
And the crickets.
There you go.
I was in the middle of a park, so we heard everything around us change. The whole environment, the whole experience is different. It's not the same as just a regular eclipse.
No, it is not. You may have seen many
Yeah.
different eclipses. I call it a hush. It's a hush of nature when everything slows down and it's quiet and it's silent for some time. And then, how long was the eclipse, the last one that you saw?
I was in it
Couple
for about
minutes.
3.5 minutes because I went to center again. This one will be almost 4 where I'm going.
Right,
Up here on the edge, it'll be about 2.5 minutes. It won't last very long,
right.
but in totality, just 3.5 minutes to 4.5 minutes, depending on where you're at.
When we're explaining to the kids, when they have their solar eclipse glasses on, and we are recommending those for everyone, because you would never know what the danger period is by looking at it. Obviously, it's right before and right after totality, but you're not going to take a chance on that. And so we tell the kids, keep them on. Don't be taking them on and off. And it'll be close to 4 minutes. And we've told the kids, like in Norwood, when it starts, when it ends, and what the differences you're going to see. And I think they're thinking it's pretty cool now, since they've had a little exposure to what it's going to be. The bottom picture, to give you an idea, these kids are from everywhere. Norwood's in 2 of the pictures. If I were to tell you how much time Norwood City Schools get, I always tie it to a value, a monetary value of what it is, and it's about $12,000. The other partners were getting 2. So that shows you the emphasis. I mean, it's easy for me to go to the middle school and get the entire middle school because we're right next to it. And then families that come in for other events, they get it as well. So that's how it's chopped up. The grant itself had no fees for instructors, had no staff fees. A lot of our classes, we got a lot of classes through that. We also got a sun solar viewer. We got 2, and those are very expensive. So I'll have those set up outside of the school. And hopefully I can, if I see some cool stuff like sunspots, prominences, then I'll just ask the teachers if they want to come out for a second and let the kids use those solar viewers. And we also have, there we go, an event April 6th. And that is a Saturday, and it's going to run 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And you can see the activities plus more. The Girl Scout programs, for example, everybody can go in those, and they can make what we're going to make. It doesn't matter whether they're a Girl Scout or not.
Hold on.
There's the solar viewers. We'll make those. Have you seen the cereal box ones? We really like those as opposed to the bigger boxes, which you got to put on your head. They're a little awkward.
We did a coffee can one, I think.
I beg your pardon?
There was a coffee can one that we made when there was a regular eclipse when I was in
Yeah.
elementary.
There's a whole
was
bunch
cool.
of different kinds now.
Are you going to be on the field on the 8th for
On-
students who are
on-
leaving school to come out and watch it?
on the 8th? They will make sure that they can come out at 3, but they're not going to be there at 3.
Yeah, they have to come
So
back.
we've got early dismissal at 2. So if you guys are on the
Right,
field,
we'll
the
be
students
there.
will be able to come
We'll
right
be
out
there,
to
and
you.
they can walk. They can walk right up, and they can join whoever else is there.
Okay.
I don't expect a lot of people to be there on the 8th because I think a lot of people are going to wherever they can see a total.
That's what I'm honestly worried about with it being a 2 o'clock dismissal because it actually starts at 1:50. The eclipse process starts around
Right.
1:50.
Right, and the kids are told, go home, go home.
But if you've got any games, I'm telling you, you don't want to have any games. Those kids are going to be trapped out there on a
Okay,
bus.
well, this is just for the 6th.
But I mean,
This-
yes, this,
right,
I'm
this
just
is
wondering
just
on
for
the
the
8th,
sixth.
are they also doing this
No.
on the field or anything for students who are at school and could then go outside and just go straight to the field to watch it safely?
I would have to talk to Mrs. Ronan about that and what she would want us, how to respond to that. I don't know.
No,
Well,
even
or
on the
just
football
right in
field,
front of
the middle
the
schoolers and the high
school.
school, just go out to the football field right there behind the high school. If that's easy for students to just have a central location in Norwood to go to, because it's, if we let out at 2, they can at least get to the high school area before totality starts. And I know we won't get 100% coverage, but it's better than the students who
Well,
can't
it's
get out of town.
99%. So
Right.
if you look at my shirt, if I take away the corona,
Yeah.
it's
still
the
gonna
black
be-
part primarily, but no beads. You know, the solar eclipse beads, none of that. Just a black
Right.
sun there for a period of time. As far as, if they're out of school, I might have people on the field or outside of the building.
I've talked to several science teachers who are very interested in doing something with you.
Okay. Well, I've gotten a lot of them. I also have we just also received the NICE exhibit, which is a museum exhibit on Sun and Earth. I've got part of it built, and the middle school came through it the other day. And that was 120 kids through there. So that is available to everybody, and we can do that as well after the exhibit, because it's kind of like a generic thing. So lots going on. I think it's going to be really a great event for the public and for school kids. Any questions?
So you got tons of glasses. Are those to hand out to the kids for the day?
They are not.
Oh,
They are
For-
not. That's okay. We are going to have to sell those glasses.
oh, as a
Because
fundraiser?
We don't have any staff. We have to have staff, and we're using that for whatever activities we have to pay for staff on. Okay.
How do we buy them then?
They're available. They're available.
From you?
Yes.
Okay.
We have thousands of them.
So you're having a big sale, a glasses sale?
Yeah, we probably will. I know that right now I'm filling orders. So everybody's ordering online. If you know people, you can order them online.
From you?
Yeah, and go to drakeplanetarium.org, and you can pick them up. We'll have 2 or 3 days where you can pick them up.
I know I saw mine in the basement, but I don't really know what condition they're in. I might need new ones. Well, and do they say, like, if you have the ones from 2017, you should not use them again? Or
No one's saying anything
No.
in
As
that
long as they're not
regard.
scratched.
No.
Yeah,
So good.
I saw them in one of my clear tubs. I need to get them out and see how good they are, if we even have enough for my family.
What I read was anything manufactured after 2021 is still good. They used to say 2 to 3 years, but as long as it's not scratched, then you're fine, especially if they are a newer model.
A lot of people have the ones from 2017.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine are from
So we're not
2017 from
recommending
Nashville.
that they
Yeah.
use those.
Yep.
Any other questions for Ms. Bowers? Okay. Thank you
Okay,
so much.
thank you very much.
Thank you for taking care of this huge thing.
Happy Solar Eclipse Day.
Okay. Moving on in the agenda, 4.02, we have Principal Mr. Joe Miller here for an update on Williams Avenue. Mr. Miller, I will need you to have a microphone. So you're going to slide over there just a minute. And if we could just make sure we turn that microphone back on. Trying to make it through a whole meeting without Tyler
Oh,
having.
there we go.
Mine wasn't on at the first, so.
Oh, there we go. All right. Ready?
Sure, go
All
right ahead.
right. Okay. Madam President, members of the board, colleagues, and guests, it is my pleasure to present to you this evening the status of Williams Avenue, if you will, a snapshot of how we are doing and where we are headed. I'd like to first start with our continuous improvement plan at the district and building levels. We are all focused on several key areas, including academics, social climate, attendance, engagement, and ongoing improvement of instructional practices. There are a number of metrics used to determine how we are doing on goals such as chronic absenteeism and OST performance. Our first goal that we have at all buildings, all throughout the district, elementaries, high school, middle school, is that by June 2026, we will improve the performance of all groups at all levels to increase the graduation rate to 91% or better, using the 4-year graduation rate by June of 2026. Let me go back. One of the key ways that we can help at the elementary level with this goal is to increase and maintain consistency in attendance. We will track our attendance and chronic absenteeism percentages on a weekly basis. This helps us to quickly and very early on determine if there are students and families that may need additional supports from us before attendance becomes a major problem. As of today, and I tracked this as of yesterday, so I don't think there's going to be a ton of change in terms of one of the key ways tracking attendance and supporting attendance. Last year's report card, we were sitting at 92.5%, and we're currently still at 92.54%, which I expect that we'll stay at that or better by the end of the school year. In terms of supporting that goal one across the district and increasing our graduation rate, attendance is huge. It's absolutely key to get kids in the building, keep them in the building, coming on a continuous basis. So one of the positive things that I'm happy to report at this time is our current rate of chronic absenteeism is down. So at the end of year, we were sitting at 22.8%, and we're now at 15.38%, which is pretty significant. As far as the chronic absenteeism, what that means is any student that is 10% or more missing the instructional time that we have available to them. So I really do hope that we continue with keeping it at 15.38 or lower, which is huge. And this doesn't just happen in a vacuum. One of the key things, or the key thing I believe in terms of attendance for students, is providing quality instruction. Providing interesting, engaging, and challenging instruction that keep kids coming back, that keep them thrilled to learn something new. The kids love coming to school, and this is my observation. This is what I see. They love their teachers. They love learning. Every day I'm blessed to walk out the doors and see parents picking up their kids. They're happy with their neighborhood schools. They're happy with their teachers. So number one, above all, is quality instruction. Do we have room for improvement? Of course, we always do. But I believe that we are meeting the mark with providing that to students. Trying to get these percentages, we're able to run reports through Dazzle to get our yearly attendance percentage as well as chronic absenteeism. And also, we can run reports on our absent threshold summary reports. Those reports simply tell us if kids have met a certain mark for excessive absences or chronic absenteeism. At that time, we send home a letter to the parents, and it's not meant to be punitive in any way. And to me, early is best. As soon as we see that there may be an issue, is reaching out to parents, contacting them to engage in conversations to see if there's anything that we can do as a school to help support their child to get them to school every day. And I think that has made a huge difference in terms of reducing our chronic absenteeism number. And of course, we don't do this in in a vacuum. We don't do it alone with our schools. We have a team of folks around the district, which you know, Mitch Carell, Samantha Cox, and Kristen Feltz are folks that we contract through the county to help with family supports and attendance. Emily Rohde, as well as Elizabeth Dietz. These are critical folks to help us with supporting families to getting kids here. Our next goal is providing safe and healthy schools. Our goal by June of 2026 is to improve the performance of all students, all grade levels. And one key measure of this in terms of our district goal is by reducing the number of referrals that we see through our ABRE, which is a reporting system that we use. So I want to just show you some numbers that are positive, or at least they're going in the direction we want them to. So 21-22, we had 69 reports of ABRE reports. Last year, we've reduced that to 40, and then currently we're sitting at 25. So year over year, we were at 30, and then so this year we're at 25, and I would expect that we'll still keep that number under 40. And again, just like attendance, this just doesn't happen for no reason. There are good things that we're putting in place to help, one, reduce absenteeism, and also to reduce the number of occurrences of the need for referrals. And a big part of that is our PACS programming that we use. You may see as you walk around the building these matrices that we call them in terms of what we want to see and hear and how kids can behave. We want to help them in terms of, you may have seen kids walking through the hallway with, their fingers on their lips and, the PACS voices in terms of how close they are in proximity, if they're in a large room or in the classroom. Through our BLT, we work very hard on putting this signage throughout the building and instructing kids with our PACS program. When we returned from Christmas break, we had stations set up throughout the building. So the auditorium, the hallway, the restrooms, playground, where we would take kids around and we'd have a staff member there to help support them and teach them what's expected of them in terms of behavior. And this was a concerted effort with our BLT, all of our teachers included. And we want to continue and further that support for students. We'll kick off our school year with the PAC stations and revisit it again as we move back into the schools after Christmas break. I think this has had a lot to do with helping students with replacement behaviors and the need for teachers to feel like they need to send in a referral. So that's a very huge positive for us at Williams. Our last goal is teaching and instruction. So by June 2026, it is to increase by 4% each year achievement levels as measured by OST tests for our students. This first slide is not an OST, but I wanted to have this. You may have seen this at previous board meetings with different schools. This is our Ames Web data that we have for kindergarten and first grade for early numeracy and early literacy. What you see from left to right is our fall benchmarking to winter. What we want to see is a reduction in the number of students that are in that red area, obviously that require or need additional supports and services or intensive. And this is the trend we want to see and we expect to see is that reduction. And when we do the benchmarking again, I would expect to see that red to get even smaller for kindergarten and first. I want to take you very quickly through our OST results and testing. This is straight from OD's website. It's straight from our report card. As you can see, 2019, 2020, we all know what happened there in terms of pandemic with the drop-off with academics in terms of testing results, so to speak. So what we're starting to see is a slow but somewhat steady, depending, increase in terms of student performance. Our third grade, bumped up quite a bit from 22 to 23. Our fourth grade dropped. This is something that I'll address in a few minutes with a slide to show you some of our very promising results with MAP. This was something that we addressed at the end of the year with staffing in particular in terms of getting folks in the right place. And I think you'll see with our MAP data for our fourth grade, I believe they're going to knock out our OSTs for us this year. This is fifth grade, which is a very interesting group of kiddos for our building and I think across the district, as they were smack dab in the middle of that pandemic and some critical grade levels in first and second grade. So they continue to need some supports that we're providing, and we are doing the best that we can to help support them, and will continue to do so as they make their way through Norwood City Schools. I have copies of this, and I'm happy to talk about this at any point because I know that numbers can get a little mind-numbing. Some things I wanted to point out to you. I'll start with our second grade. What I expect to see, these arrows and the equal signs, what I expect to see with our second grade is they're going to continue to perform even better. So MAP, do you mind if I stand? Is that okay? All right. So this is fall to fall. MAP 23. I thought I had a different graph in there that had this delineated, but this is MAP 22-23. This is this year in the winter. I'm sorry. With our second grade, you see quite a bump up in mathematics, a small dip in English language arts. They do not have an OST at the second grade level, but what I expect to see is they are going to continue to grow when we do our benchmarking with MAP in the spring. And what I have seen with the second grade is quite amazing. The majority of the kids in both of the second grade classes have made growth. They may not have always made the highest achievement, but what we aim to do is take kids and grow them as they make their way. And I do expect those numbers to increase. Third grade, they are smashing. This is this fall compared to last fall. I don't know, did I do that? Sorry. I really expect that they are going to meet or exceed our OSTs from last year based off of our MAP data. Fourth grade, this is our group that took quite a dip. This is their MAP data from the winter, from 42. This is year over year. These are different groups of kids, so this is why sometimes data and information can get confusing. But our group of fourth graders this year are 62.9% in terms of these are projected proficiency rates. And then 72% in math in terms of projected proficiency for fourth grade. I actually expect that to be higher. So hopefully we can talk about this sometime and look at the numbers and that be the case. Our fifth grade, like I say, is a very interesting group of students. They were smack dab in the middle of the pandemic piece. I have them as holding steady. I do expect that they will meet potentially their last year OST results. Will they meet or exceed the fifth grade results from this year? That's to be seen. They're a very tricky bunch of kids. This same group of kids in math, they had 65% projected proficiency in math, but yet we hit winter and then they drop down to 34. So overall, the majority of our kids are making progress, and even our fifth grade kiddos are making progress and progressing. Maybe not always as quickly as we want them to, but they are progressing on a continuum for sure. One of our goals certainly is to get back to pre-pandemic performance in academics, and I believe we can do it. I believe we have the teachers to do it, the community, the students to get behind that. I very strongly believe that we are on an uptick and could see those types of numbers as we move into next year or so. Next steps for us, for Williams Avenue Elementary, teachers are very excited about the Amplify adoption, for ELA adoption. I only hear good things from the teachers, and when they get excited about a curriculum, look out. I'm thrilled about that. I think the Amplify, kudos to Christina and the crew of folks that sat around and looked at some different programming. The current program we have, we've had to add some things to it, some supplementals, and that I think Amplify will cover in a much better way, and it incorporates the new science of reading, the new approach to reading, and in some ways you could even say it's what was old is new again to a certain extent. I'm just thrilled that the teachers are thrilled about the new adoption. Next steps as well is better alignment for our TBTs, BLTs, and DLTs. We've recently made some adjustments in that in terms of making better use of our time and sharing of instructional strategies and data monthly to focus on our district and building continuous improvement goals such as attendance, you saw, discipline, and PBIS. Early intervention and support is the key for those kids in those early ages. We get kids that come to us that may never went to preschool. So it's not all that abnormal to see kids early on in the K1, kindergarten and first grade, where you see a lot of red. There's, half the kids may not have had preschool. So it's not necessarily catch up. We just got a lot of work to do for students. And that is why the title, the support, is also very important early on for students in addressing things not only through using title but differentiation and really strong, consistent core instruction. As I mentioned, pre-pandemic is where I want us to be, and I believe we can get there. I really do, for Williams and really for the district. And lastly, the congruent system-wide supports and services. What does that mean? We're looking at revamping and redoing our PBIS as well as our MTTS systems of supports for our staff and for our students in particular, figuring out what the needs are, what tools should we be using or can we use to help support students as they grow in their education. And that's my report.
Any questions for Mr. Miller?
I just wanted to point out that, our fifth graders who are having a big challenge catching back up. I heard a report where they compared kids all over. They're like, this is a thing for the entire world. We are not special here in Norwood that is happening, or those kids are having a hard time catching up. They are all over the world, and when they studied all over the world, kids in the USA are doing better than kids in other countries. So although it looks like, oh no, only 42%, it's probably pretty good compared to the entire world.
I don't doubt that.
Yeah.
But it is a thing.
It is a thing,
Yes.
definitely. But yeah, they're not alone.
Nope.
Any other questions or comments?
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Miller.
You want me to leave? Okay.
All right. Continuing on with the agenda, item 4.03. We have our athletic director, Mr. Chuck Richardson, here to discuss the scoreboard for Shea Stadium.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good
Good evening.
Let me make sure I'm on the microphone. Can you hear me? Yeah. All right, sit down myself. I can answer any questions that need to be answered. I spoke with our vendor, that's Griffin Sports, about our potential scoreboard, and we have two designs this evening. And then also I can explain, I know last time we had some questions about the potential advertisement boards. So what Griffin Sports did is they gave us 4 different renderings of what our scoreboard would look like in 2 different colors. And those colors would be red and blue. And then also the colors of those would be red and white on the lettering on the scoreboard. And both of them have a truss attached to them. And then also I included where the scoreboards would be at. Mr. Peter and I met earlier today about something unrelated, but we have another meeting tomorrow about where the potential scoreboard will go. So it looks like it's going to go by the long jump pit. I'm just going to be by the shot put pit. But We might be moving it just a tad so the other sidelines can see. Well, the opposing sideline can see, well, which might be the home sideline next year. So that information is there as well. And I can answer any questions that need to be answered. We do have 2 color options. And that's pretty much all I have.
My note is that I really hope you all agree that it's white letters on either one of these.
The red,
but
yeah.
that the red letters, people who are red-green colorblind won't be able to see them.
I agree.
As
Yeah,
we
number
learned,
three.
I agree.
as we learned, thank you to the parent slash teacher who told us about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, number 3,
I
I
will
think, is
never
out,
forget it
but-
now.
I kind of like the second with the white letters, with the blue. I think it stands out. It looks really clean.
I like
It will
both.
make the lettering pop.
Yep.
Which one do you like, Chuck?
With the field being majority red, I mean blue, I like the red, but I'm not opposed to the blue either. I'm fine either way.
I think they look really cool.
Yeah.
Like I said, just the red letters with the red
Yeah.
thing is just too much, but otherwise, yeah.
Both look good. I like the white letters though. I do. And then for the specifications on those, I believe those are going to be 30 inches. So the clock digits are 30 inches, and then the downs to go, the quarters and such are going to be 24 inches. And then the timeouts left are going to be 18 inches.
How big are our current numbers of letters on the school?
I think they're the identical size.
Identical size?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm sorry, which one did you say you liked that version right there?
I like that version, but I'm okay with blue too.
Oh, you like the blue too?
Yeah, so I'm
But-
fine. I'm fine either way.
Or
Either
would
way.
you say most of the field is red
Well,
or blue?
Well,
So-
blue.
Most of the
It's
field
all-
is blue, so
it's
you
all
kind of
blue,
like the red
yeah.
one.
I kind of like that because I feel like they kind of match together.
Yeah.
With the end zone, it looks. And
But,
I
mean,
think
regardless,
it's
I'm
nice
fine.
to have both of our school colors represented
Yeah,
as well.
that's my thought process.
Because
too,
I don't
but-
see any blue in this, so it's like almost I would think redding because it's
Oh.
like white and red with white lettering and or white outlines, white numbers, and then red background. There's no blue in it at all. So I like that this one kind of incorporates both of our school colors.
That's number 2. page
Number 2 with the white letters or white numbering.
I'm leaning that way too.
Because to me,
this
that's
one.
all our branding. All our branding is
Yeah.
I agree.
blue with red. And it pulls the end zone coloring with the red wording and the blue surround. So it matches nicely.
I didn't do anything. There we go.
Looks really
There we go.
nice.
Hold on, we can do this. There we go.
But yeah, I mean,
For those at
I
home.
just think redding for this one or
Yeah.
Deer Park or something.
Deer Park, yeah, or something
Yeah.
like that. I just don't. Yeah.
So that's the one we like.
I like that one.
And as far as the advertisement panels, they can be divided into 3 on each side, so a total of 6, or a total of 8. So maybe we could use our imaginations just a little bit. I know one of the first rendering, I can pass that around if I need to. It had it with 3 on the left side and 4 on the right side, but it can be however we want to do it.
It's back there. It's
Okay.
on the last image. It
All
shows
right.
the box configurations on the top, and bottom has the additional strip across
Yep,
the
there you
bottom.
go.
I like the flexibility that this gives us, so we could do them 3 and 4. We can do 2 and 1, whatever we want to do.
Yeah.
I like the flexibility of this, and it rotates too. So like for a quarter, we could have somebody advertise.
Well,
Maybe.
the video board rotates.
Okay.
The panels will be permanent.
Permanent.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
got you.
Would you foresee any issue filling those up? Like if we were to go 8, I mean,
I don't think so.
we could get that.
No, I don't think so. It's just conversations to have with, local businesses who want to advertise in Shea Stadium.
So even if you did 3 on one side and 4 on the other,
Yeah.
the 3 on the one side would have to pay more than the
Right.
4 on the other. So,
So they would have a choice what they wanted to.
so it kind of would be nice to have a choice. Yeah.
And of course, if you're on the video board, that's prime real estate, so.
Yeah.
Different levels of sponsorship.
For sure.
Exactly.
Right.
So what are we deciding? We're trying to decide between 3 on each side, 4 on each side, or 3 and 4? Is that what we're trying to decide?
Well, I thought today we were deciding on the colors.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And the other part of it, I think this is the solicitation part of it all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't have a preference, so.
The 3 or 4 on each side, isn't that you'll come up with that once
Yeah.
you get sponsored?
correct. Yeah.
So that's-
Are we able to switch that, or is that a permanent decision? Like, if we pick 3, it's always 3, we can't swap it out
would be a
for,
permanent decision for however many years the term of the sponsorship is.
gotcha.
So kind of like at Shea now, a lot of those, we need to probably have some conversations with some of the sponsors that we have out there, or donors, and just say, that, hey, we're getting new scoreboards, are you still interested in still being up on the scoreboard?
Now,
So those are different sizes too.
If we had, for example, let's say a 3 or a 4 configuration, could you say like, okay, if you want 3, but you want a double wide, you'd pay for 2, and they would just cut the paper in half, so to speak, and put it together as one huge ad. They could buy 2 spaces.
That option's available, but I mean, I still want to, I guess, have some type of diversity on the scoreboard and
Right.
different vendors and such.
Well, I just want, if we don't have enough vendors to fill those spaces, I
Yeah.
want to have the option, like, we could just take up, like, if we had 4, but we only get, 1.5 vendors for that side or so, we could say, all right, we're going to charge you a little more, but we can give you double panel. And it would just be 2 parts for the same business.
That's a conversation to have, for sure.
Okay. The flexibility is nice with that. That's really good.
Mhm. So we like what's up there?
I think
So I
so.
want to hear. Okay.
I got 2 thumbs up.
All right.
Looks really nice.
Yeah, it does.
I really
I
like
like-
the top. I don't know why I'm so drawn to that, but I really like the top.
Because it
Like the
looks like
truss?
a bridge.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool.
And there's trains right next door, so it's like a train bridge.
So we will vote on that one next week officially?
Or when we get
Or-
at our meeting.
Yeah, at the meeting,
Okay.
whenever that is.
Or 2 weeks?
2
2
weeks.
weeks?
2-ish weeks.
2 weeks.
Or a week and a half-ish.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
All right.
Thank
Oh,
you,
there we
Mr.
go again.
Richardson.
Thank you all.
Did you want these back?
Did you want to talk about anything else?
Well,
How's your boy? How'd he do? We're so proud of Wyatt. You got to brag on him for a
That wasn't
second.
on the agenda.
You know what?
Oh, sorry.
I'm fine if you want to brag about him
I
for
think
a
we're gonna
second.
I was
Invite.
told I was coming to
We're all
talk
gonna
about
sit here and
floorboards, not
pretend we
about our
don't
state
know.
champion.
we're gonna invite him back for that
No,
also,
that's
but
fine.
you can
That's
certainly
fine.
say
Well,
anything you
since-
want.
Well, since I'm here,
I just want to say I appreciate you kept us up to date. The
Yes.
social media posting was on point, giving us a live feed, letting us watch him win that championship was so good. Really appreciate the effort that your coaches put in to let us be a part of it, even if we couldn't be there with him.
thank you. Thank you. That was fun. It's fun to cover it all. It was an experience. I'm glad that the community got a chance to see it too. Thank God for technology, right?
Right.
But for those who may not know, but I think we know already, Wyatt Hinton, class of 2024, won the first boys wrestling state championship over the weekend on Sunday night at about 6:30 or so. So Wyatt was a state placer last year, and he had a goal this year to win the state, and he met that goal. And on his way to that goal, he faced some really stiff competition. And his match to go to the semifinals, he wrestled the defending state champion from last year in his class. And then in his semifinal match, he wrestled the favorite to win the state in that class, and who actually is an Ohio State commit as a wrestler in that weight class. And then he wrestled a young man from Centerburg, Ohio, which I don't know where that's at, but he wrestled a young man from Centerburg. I think it's near the Cleveland area, if I'm not mistaken. And he won that match as well, too. So tomorrow morning, I think we all got the email at about 9 o'clock. We're welcoming Wyatt back to Norwood as a state champion. So pretty excited about that. Really excited about that. So
And you did, Friday, we hosted a send-off. We were all invited to that. You
yep,
did a-
Thursday afternoon. Yep.
You did a wonderful job on that.
Thank you.
So thank you for that. And Mr. Lee and the marching band came, and I was fortunate enough to be there, and it was really well done and really well put together. So thank you for all of that.
Thank you. I didn't sleep the night before.
Oh, wow.
I won't sleep tonight either.
It's like having a newborn.
Yeah.
It was really my favorite part of it, though. was when he came down the final hallway there. He was coming down the athletic hallway into the lobby, and I happened to be standing next to Wyatt's mother. And my favorite thing was Wyatt came into the lobby and he just goes straight to his mom, always straight
Yeah.
to his mom and into her arms. And it was very special. So
And we had a couple moments like that. I think Saturday night when he clinched to go to the state finals, he had a moment like that.
He went straight. Yeah, I saw him like walk straight off the mat and right
Yeah.
up in. He didn't care. No stop, no pass, go.
Nope.
He went
Nope.
straight into the stands.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw that.
Oh yeah, so that was the cool part of it all. Seeing kids celebrate these moments with their parents,
Parents.
is,
Yep.
part of the reason why we all do what we do. So that was a real cool experience to see it all. So
but they are truly a wonderful family, wonderful Norwood Indians. So thank you for all the work you're putting.
no problem. So we are back at it tomorrow, and I guess a hero's welcome as it all. So when we talked about Thursday, when we did this last year with Riley Carmen when he qualified for the state, I had this all envisioned. I was like the Rocky moment. So when Rocky was going to Philadelphia and then everybody started chasing him, that's what we wanted to do. The same thing with Wyatt.
Okay.
So we kind of had that Rocky moment last week too. So yeah.
It was great. It was fantastic. And hearing our fight song playing, and it was very nice.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. I'll see everybody tomorrow, 9 o'clock.
All right. Item 5 on the agenda, this is personnel, superintendent recommendations, and I will turn it over to Superintendent Mrs. Ronan.
Thank you, Madam President. Under 5.01 retirement, I want to congratulate Don Deems, a Norwood High School English teacher. He will not be returning at the end of the school year because he is retiring, and I just know that decades of students have had Mr. Deems for English. He will truly be missed. So congratulations, Mr. Deems. Then under 5.02 employment, we just have a few items. Avenues for Success is hiring a club leader in item number 2. Number 3, we have several new hires for softball. And item 3, these individuals are actually changing what they're doing. There were some last minute changes to coaching. So that is all we have in the employment area at this time.
Thank you, Mrs. Ronan. Item 6 on the agenda, this is our Education Committee, and I will turn it over to Mrs. Rarica.
Okay, it's field trip time of the year. I mean, I always have field trips, but this time of year it's a longer list. So we've got Sharpsburg going to Green Acres. We've got the middle school going to the University of Kentucky for their softball team. The marching band going to Wilmington High School and Kings Island. And the Norwood chemistry class is going to Shepherd Chemical. Norwood View going to Green Acres Art Center. I've been there. It's really fun. And the 5th grade at View going to Fenwick Park, probably for their end of year picnic.
Okay. Item 7 on the agenda, this is Policy Committee, and I will turn it over to Vice President Taylor.
Thank you, Madam President. We will have the second readings of IGD, IGDJ, and KGB.
Okay. So we will be voting on those at our next regular meeting. In 2 weeks. Item 8, this is Building and Grounds Committee, and I will turn it over to Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Madam President. We have one request, and I'm going to read this because it's different for me. Queen City Korfball has a tournament in the high school gym scheduled for September 7th and 8th from 8:30 to 5 that has been approved by the athletic department. This is put on in partnership with Avenues for Success, but it is not a team event through Avenues Success. Korfball is a hybrid sport described as a cross between netball and basketball, and it's played by 2 mixed gender teams of 8. So that is a new sport for me. I am not very familiar with it, but it's kind of cool to bring something unique to our gym. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Ms. Ballard. Item 9, this is our Finance Committee, so I will turn this over to our Treasurer, Mrs. Campos.
Thank you, Madam President. On the agenda, financials, our CFO report, the monthly financials and change order listings are attached for your review. 9.02 appropriation resolution and 412 certificate, our annual budget. 9.03, a donation from Kroger to Avenues for Success for just under $1,200. 9.04, approve Shay's final design. As we discussed earlier, next week the board will decide the final design of the scoreboard. It looks like it's going to be the blue one with white numbers and the red Norwood City School lettering. 9.05, substantial completion of the boiler replacement. This project is nearly at full completion and has went very well. In fact, the general contractor has given us a credit for the unused contingency built into every bid. The substantial completion date is the start of our warranty period. And that is everything for finance.
Okay. With finance wrapped up, we are on to adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
A motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Just a reminder, we have a special meeting immediately following this meeting, so don't take off. We would probably catch you before you did, but any other discussion? All right, Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right, the time is 6:56, and we are adjourned from that meeting.
Is the second one super fast? I
It
think
is.
so, right?
It is.
I need to go to the bathroom.
All right, so the second meeting, this, I don't know really what I'm supposed to do, so I'll just say this is Tuesday, March 12th, 2024. This is our special board meeting following the committee meeting. Do we need to call roll?
Yes.
Okay, so Mrs. Camphouse, if you would call the roll, please.
Mr. Atwood?
Present.
Ms. Ballard?
Present.
Mrs. Rarica?
Present.
Mr. Taylor?
Present.
Mrs. Cole?
Present. All right, item 1.03, this is the motion to adopt the agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Ms. Ballard?
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes. All right, with that approved, we can move on. Item 2, this is Finance Committee, so I will turn it over to Treasurer Mrs. Camphouse.
Thank you, Madam President. 2.01, to consider and vote upon the bids received for Sharpsburg Beautification Project. On February 13th, we accepted bids for the beautification project. We had 3 bidders. We tabled this discussion last month as our architect had not yet conducted the post-bid review. Before post-bid could be completed, however, the lowest bidder withdrew his bid due to a clerical error. Pruce Construction has the lowest qualified bid, and our architect, SHP, has recommended that we accept Pruce's bid. Pruce is a very well-known, respected company in the tri-state. So 2.01, you'll be accepting that bid and the architect's recommendation.
Do I have a motion to approve 2.01?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
When would they be able to begin?
They are slated to start dropping off materials early May, and
Anything else? Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Ms. Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
In 2.02, the owner contract agreement and notice to proceed. After accepting Pruce's lowest bid, now the board can approve the formal agreement and the notice to proceed. These documents give Pruce the assurances needed to order product and other necessary steps to be ready for our mid-May start.
Do I have a motion to approve 2.02?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right, Mrs. Camphouse?
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Ms. Ballard,
Yes.
Mrs. Rarica,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes. All right, with that approved, item 3, we have closing. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The time is 6:59. We are adjourned. Thank you.